Oh, hello again, boys. It's been a little while since I did an update, so I figured I'd provide a new one. So, what's changed since the last video? I believe, I was in the middle of a move, changing apartments, so I'm now in a new apartment. That's not really relevant for these videos, though, since the fish tank is the same, but I was able to move all the fish successfully over and everything went fine. One kind of sad bit of bad news though is that one of my guppies, the orange guppy, it passed away. I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but it was kind of giving out like white stringy poop, and I looked it up and there were all sorts of different things that I thought could be causing it, so I ended up buying like some medicine for it. Let me see if I can grab that medicine bottle back there. Yeah, so I got something like this to try to deal with the sickness, and it turned out that it wasn't helping at all. I dosed it for about a week and didn't help, so I did a little more research, and it looked like the issue might have been that there were worm parasites in it. So I ended up getting this thing right here. It's called this medicine is called levamisole, I believe, and I tried dosing my tank with that, and it kind of improved a little bit, but I think that maybe the fish was a little bit too far gone, because about a week and a half later, I found the guppy dead, which is unfortunate. And the funny thing here is that, the guppy itself probably costed me less than $1 to get, and I probably spent close to the order of $40 in medication trying to save the guppy when I could have possibly got 40 more. But I was feeling sentimental, so I'd had it for a couple of months, and I thought like, well, I don't want one of my fish to die on me if it's sick, and this is like good preparation in case there's some other issue with a different fish. So I did get the yo-yo loach as well. I think I mentioned that before, and the yo-yo loach, where is that sucker? He's there. Well, he'll probably show up later. I got him to like try to attack the snails, but as you can see from looking at my tank, there's still a lot of snails, and he's not. So I don't think he's doing a very good job, or her. I don't think she or he is doing a very good job right now. I can't really tell how to tell the gender apart. And last but not least, I don't know if you can see those guys over there, but I also got some cherry shrimp. Yep. My buddy happens to have a pretty large tank. It's a 55 gal. And he said that, he had a lot of cherry shrimp, like hundreds of them. So he offered to give me a couple for free. So I took him up on that offer. I was like, sure, why not, man? Like, I'll take your cherry shrimp. And he also gave me a pregnant female who, she's probably hiding back there. Yeah, she's right there still. You can't really see her very clearly, but she's like pretty gigantic compared to these other guys. Like these males, they're actually significantly smaller. So she's like she's a big girl. She was pregnant, and I think that she's recently given birth, because I happened to find a shrimp, and now it's gone. Okay, so there was a little baby shrimp here, just hanging out. Let me see if I could walk around for a second. That's an Amano, by the way. I'm not talking about the Amano. Shoot. Yeah, there's the yo-yo loach, by the way. You just saw like a glimpse of him. I also got my little SpongeBob house, and he's a pretty big fan of that. He likes to hide in there and, just hang out. Just swimming about. It's I think his favorite spot, as well as this black guppy over here. They both like to hang out in that little tent. It's probably where you can hide away from the light in case you want to get a little bit of a shut eye or something. But anyway, I did see a baby shrimp. Let me see if I can spot it really quick. They're pretty tough to spot because they're cherry shrimp, but they're right now I don't think they have any color because it was completely translucent. So it's just it basically looks like a little microscopic Amano shrimp, because you see how the Amano shrimp don't have any color themselves. And that's pretty much it for the update. Overall, I just did a water change, and I think the health of the tank is pretty good outside of the one guppy that was sick. My concern was that maybe these other guppies would get sick as well, since that one was sick. I don't have a quarantine tank, so I didn't have anyone to put that sick guppy, so it probably stayed like, you know, sick in my tank for a couple of weeks until finally it passed. So, you know, I'm monitoring these other fish, and I'm not exactly sure if if I'm gonna get replacement guppies in the situation that they end up passing as well, because they don't live very long, right? I've had them for about close to 6 months now, maybe less than that. Actually, like maybe 4 or 5 months, and if I were to replace these fish, I think I would probably get something a little bit more lively, like Cory catfish. I was going through the fish store and I was taking a look around, and I saw the Corys, and you know, they look pretty entertaining. On top of that, like, I actually got this yo-yo loach initially specifically to eat the snails, which it hasn't done. You're bad. You should feel ashamed of yourself. Stupid yo-yo. I'm just kidding. I like this guy. He's entertaining to watch. He's got a lot of energy. He just zooms around. He's always on the move, looking for the next bite to eat. Whereas these guys, as you can see, they're just kind of like, you know, they're just hanging around, just like couch potatoes. This guy, I like him. He reminds me of myself. You know, he's out and about doing stuff, and well, not right now. I think he's just looking at me. He's like, what the hell is this guy doing? Yeah, that's the other thing too. It's a curious little fish. Like, it's got a personality, you know. I feel like it's curious. It pokes around. It explores places. It like looks at things. It studies them, and I think that, you know, it's definitely a little bit more smarter and more intelligent than these guppies. So in the future, like, maybe I'll get another yo-yo loach. Well, I heard you have to get like 6 or something if you have them in groups, which is why I'm hesitant to get more than one. But maybe like Cory catfish, or I'll probably try out some other different fish too. On top of that, like, I'm not really, I haven't really thought too much about it yet, but like bala sharks and stuff like that, just stuff that could potentially more fish that could eat the shrimp. I mean the snails, because they're really getting out of hand. Like, it hasn't been 6 months yet. I don't know if you remember my initial video. I said like, oh yeah, I found this one bladder snail, so I'm gonna keep the bladder snail, and you know, the population is manageable. That's fine. It's not so manageable anymore. Like, I think the bioload that these guys are creating on the tank is pretty heavy. So that's why I'm doing like water changes pretty frequently now, just to manage with that. At the same time though, like, you know, a couple of snails here and there, it looks fine on the tank, but like this many snails, like everywhere you look, is just like plastered with snails, like here, there, and then like over here there's like 2, and then like a bunch over here. Like, you can't even see them, but they're there, and they're just hanging around. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And you know, one thing that I do want to note before I leave is that my poor little Nerite snail over there, this guy, he's been like that for a couple of days now, and I was worried that, like, you know, it was dead or something. But I took a look at it, and it, like, I pulled it out of the tank, and I like poked it a second, like very gently, and it moved. So it's still alive. It's just, I don't know, like, it's just not even moving or doing anything. So I don't know if it's like hibernating right now because it's like July, and maybe like, you know, like how bears hibernate in the winter, maybe the Nerite snail hibernates in the summer or something, since it's like an African snail. So maybe it's like maybe it's just like it gets too hot in the summer, so it just, even though I have a thermometer and, you know, the temperature is pretty consistent, I actually have no idea what's going on with this guy. So hopefully I don't lose this Nerite. I know it's like really beat up. I got it like that out of the fish store. I just want to emphasize that again. It was like that when I got it. And it was the only one that was in the fish store, which is why I took it. I have not been beating my snail. I'm not a snail abuser, so just, I want to make that clear. I'm more of like a snail rescuer. I adopted this beat up snail and put it in my fish tank, and yeah, I guess it's got like some PTSD trauma or something because it's just been hiding out for the last couple of days. I just worry that maybe the yo-yo loach has been like poking at it and scaring the crap out of it or something. My only concern right now is that since it's alive but it hasn't been moving and has been eating, I just hope like it's not so scared to the point that it stays in the shell so long that it basically starves to death because it's too afraid to go out and eat. That would be like the worst case scenario. But that does bring into question like a really interesting point. How do you tell if a snail is like actually dead, if it's like not moving, it's not like coming out of the shell, like I guess like every couple days or like every week or something, and I have to pull it out and periodically like try to poke at it to see if it's still alive. If any of you guys have any ideas on how I can check the livelihood of my snail without like scaring it or causing it any harm, then please mention that in the comments. I'd love to know. In the meantime though, hope you guys are all doing well. I'm doing pretty good myself. I'm digging my new apartment, and just enjoying the work from home while doing this whole coronavirus thing. I think the fish tank's been a really good way for me to pass the time and kind of deal with being in isolation and quarantine. And so yeah, just stay safe out there. Hope you guys are all doing good. Till next time. See ya.